Hey everyone, in this video I want to go over several habits you should get into if you want to be a faster editor, and overall if you just want to be a better editor. These are great habits to have and will put you on the right track to improving. The first habit is creating backup sequences. So anytime you're going to edit, you should just duplicate your sequence, either give it the date or put like 001, 002 and keep upping the sequence, kind of keep upping the order as you move on to the next sequence. This way, if you ever make a change or the client likes something better in an older version, you can just then open up a folder of older sequences and go grab the old sequence and bring it back in. This is one of the first lessons I learned when making videos. Is it's always nice to go back to maybe an earlier version or an earlier cut you had of the sequence. So just every single day, or if you don't want to do it every single day, like making a new sequence, you can just do it when you plan to make big changes to your sequence. Like, hey, I'm about to change this whole middle section. Let me duplicate this, put the date on it, and put it in another folder, which is another thing. You should have a folder for old sequences. So that way, on the root of your project, you still just have the latest sequence and all the older ones are tucked away in a folder. Habit number 2, which might be the most important, and it kind of ties into number 1, is being organized. Whether that be how you structure your folders beforehand with your assets, your project, your footage, your VFX, and your exports, you kind of want to have it all nice and organized. You could use numbers here again to keep it in the same order. That way, every single project you go into, you have this same kind of folder structure. But also in the project itself, you want to get used to having this kind of nice folder structure where everything's clean and organized so you can move faster. And if you have to go back to older projects, you can kind of quickly see what's going on and understand where everything is. Another note is to delete anything you're not using from within the project. This will speed up your project. So if you recorded a lot on one day, or you have a lot of footage from one game and you know some of these clips aren't used, and say your project is more narrowed down, you're just focusing on tweaking what you have, you can remove those to speed up your project. Number 3 should be an obvious one, but setting up your autosave is a must, using anything Adobe especially, but any editing software or computer software really that requires you to do creative work. I have mine set at 15 minutes, but I'm probably going to change it to every 10 minutes because I'd rather have that thing pop up and say saving than me lose some work. And I think between the 10 and 15 minute mark, I can go back and redo it if I need to. I also have Command S as a key binding on my mouse wheel, which is just save. So anytime I press in the mouse wheel, it saves. And I've gotten into a good habit of just always pressing that in whenever I do something. Whenever I do an export or I do a big change, I'm just in a habit of pressing that in now. So I'm saving all the time, but I mean, I'm sure you guys are used to Adobe crashing or any of your software is crashing, and it's super annoying. So make sure you set up your autosave. So number 4, this is really a big one, especially if you want to improve your speed of editing, is learning keybind shortcuts or keybinds for your editing. I'll go over a few here, but you should really look into a lot of them and kind of learn the default positioning so you can sit down anywhere and edit away. But some of my favorite ones are / to create an in and out point on anything you have selected, whether that be one clip or several clips. The apostrophe key to cut anything you have on the in and out. When I was working for Mr. Beast, this was something I used a lot because you have to go through a lot of empty space. So almost just looking at the waveforms, I can see when they're talking, when they're not. Now I'd put an in point, and then right when the next part was about to start, I put an out point. Then I would smack that apostrophe key, which just cuts that whole section. Some basic ones are L, K, and J. L being play, and then if you tap it again, it goes faster. If you tap it again, it goes faster, so like a fast forward. K being a pause, and J being the reverse of L, where it plays it in reverse, but if you tap it again, it rewinds faster and faster. And this is a really good way if you want to do reviews of a product. Instead of like clicking play and pause with your mouse and your space bar, you can use these 3 buttons to go a lot faster and kind of pinpoint where you want to be. And moving faster is always the goal because time is money, and the faster you can go, the more money you can make. The last step here is clearing your cache when you're finished a project. So whenever I'm done a big project, say my Frosty Halo montage, I just deleted all the cache from my Adobe folders. So cache is temporary stored files that it uses to basically load your project faster, and I know because I'm done that project, I don't need them anymore. I also have it set up where I have like a cache file limit where I only have, I think, 45 gigs allowed to cache. And that way, whenever I hit 45 gigs, the oldest file in there gets deleted. But what's nice about Adobe is setting up your cache. You can, like I said, set it up where it deletes after it passes a certain gigabyte size that you set up, or you can set it up to delete after a certain amount of time. So you can say delete cache files after 45 days or after they're 90 days old. And that's a good way to do it too. On a side note, to speed up and optimize Adobe, I actually have my cache files on a separate SSD, and then I have an SSD for the software, which is Premiere and Adobe, and an SSD for all my project files. So I have 3 SSDs, That way there's no bottlenecking. All the info isn't coming through on one SSD. I'm grabbing it from 3 different places to make myself faster and avoid bottlenecking. Talked about that in an earlier video. I can link to the description. But that's another note, just talking about cache files, it reminded me. Again, when I worked for Mr. Beast, I found this to be very important because there's a lot of footage coming in. They shoot on multiple cameras, and you can quickly go through and find the best parts for like a first pass trim. And then after that, maybe go through more fine tune and trim it again. And I use the slash and the apostrophe key all the time. In and out, delete that section, in and out, delete that section. If you use Avid Media Composer, it's basically like X. So the cut function. So hopefully guys, this has been helpful. If you think I missed any very important habits, comment down below so we can share these so other people can see. But these are some habits off the top of my head that I thought really helped me improve and will help you guys take your editing to the next level, be more professional, and get it done faster. All right, thanks guys. Subscribe for more tutorials every single week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.